The great JT, how are we, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing great here. Holiday weekend.
Sir.
You were in the services.
Yep. Yep. United States Marine Corps. Yep.
All right. Shout out to all our Marine Corps. I have a friend who just retired from the Army, living his
Awesome.
second life. Excited about that. Shout out to my man Royal. Yeah, man. Here we are, brother. Uh,
Yes, sir.
daily, daily meetings, JT.
Yep.
Why? Why have
Yep.
them?
All right, so just to put it into context for the viewers, so I
Mhm.
do daily team meetings. They don't have to be 5 hours long. They're usually like 30 minutes or so long. And what I have learned in business is that while passive income, set it and forget it, automated is all sexy trigger words, the most successful businesses, they communicate a lot. Right. So what I do is I got right now about a 5-person team. So I have 2 full-time editors, I got a personal assistant, I got a funnel builder, and I'm actually interviewing somebody to come on to be an ad specialist as well. And I think fundamentally you could get away with maybe like a good 4 to 5 person team, three if they all rock stars and make at least $1 million a year. But just bringing that, into context. So, the reason why I do daily team meetings is so that way nothing falls through the cracks. I used to do once a week team meetings, or I used to do just let me know if it's a problem and try to just delegate tasks. And what I found is that a lot of stuff that was a small problem and we could have nipped it in the bud and never made it a big issue, it got blown out of proportion due to a lack of communication. So communication is super important in all areas of life, but in your business as well. So right now, my daily schedule is, we get up early, around, not today because it's a holiday, but around 9:30 ish. We look at the market from like 9:30 to 10. If I don't see an opportunity to trade, I don't force it. I jump out of the market by 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I jump out of the market but into a team meeting. And then from like 10 to 10:30, I talk to my team. So I tell them, hey, look, this is the plan of attack. This is what I want us to focus on. Now in the future, I'll probably have somebody else replace me in this role, but we still would do team meetings, I think, every day for the foreseeable future because it has greatly impacted our bottom line by doing it.
I've tried to have people replace me in the past. I haven't been able to find the right situation for it
Let's talk
currently.
about it, man. That's what I love to help people do, Dre. So my whole thing is the first person, in my humble opinion, right? The first, because I used to suck at HR. I used to tell people, man, I'm a dog. I could do everything myself. And really, I was covering up the fact that I was worried about if I hire somebody, what if things get slow? I still gotta pay them. Are they even doing anything that actually benefits the bottom line? I don't want to have to fire them. What if they mess stuff up? Like I had all of these things, and then I realized it was just a lack of knowledge. So as I educated myself more, I was able to overcome that, and now it's my favorite thing to do is hire people. Right? Unfortunately, sometimes you got to let people go, but man, I understand that I'm not gonna get to where I'm trying to go alone. So tying it to it, first person you should hire should be somebody replacing a task that makes you money. Now, I
Mm.
know there's a lot of different type of business owners watching this or listening to this. So to be generic, because I don't know your exact business, let's say a copywriter. So a copywriter is it could be your personal assistant, it could be a dedicated copywriter. Every business in today's age needs somebody that's a copywriter. For me, it's my personal assistant, right? What does a copywriter do? That's who's in charge of your email marketing. We got an email newsletter. That's who's in charge of your text message marketing. That's who's in charge of updating the website, writing the copy for when you're doing your events. So all of that written form stuff that you need to do in your business on a consistent basis, that's a copywriter. So one easy way that you could do it, let's say that, okay, if you send out emails yourself, Dre might say, well, if I send out 2, 3, 5 emails a week, we generate, and just gonna make up numbers here, we generate $100. Of course, Dre is way more profitable than that. I'm just using numbers that I can count on my fingers and toes, right? So, okay, if when Dre does email marketing, he makes $100 a week, if he hires me and all I have to do is learn copywriting and write copy every single day. Now, guess what? Day one, Dre is a better copywriter than me. Maybe even day 10, Dre is still a better copywriter than me. But day 367, man, my copy is unbelievably better, right? Dre might see some of the copy and say, wow, that's us, right? We said that, right? Because all this person has to do is write copy. Now, how do we make them profitable? So my hiring process makes it so I cover the cost of my VAs for a year before I even hire them, right? And I think we talked about that in previous episodes, but if I need to revisit it, I can. But we already hired them. We made them take a test. That test generated us money. Now we got them. And now I can measure that. I can say, okay, look, I want you to send out 3 emails a week. Or maybe if you got an email newsletter, we're going to start sending out an email a day, right? So our daily emails are 90% inspirational, 10% call to action. So our structure, we got a faith-based publication called the Providence Pro newsletter. And every day we send out an email, it's going to be a biblical inspiration. Just give them a scripture. It's going to be a business tactic. And then it's going to be a call to action. That call to action could be share the newsletter. We got an upcoming conference. Did you know about this book? Did you know about that? It could be an affiliate link, so it's not even our product, but we're going to ask them to do something every single email, right? So, because you miss all the shots you don't take. So, I would recommend, Dre, if you were to look at what needle moving activity do you do? So, okay, when I send out an email, I get this many people respond back, I make this many sales. I would hire somebody to do that because now you can measure that. Okay, I make $100 doing that, but I'm doing that plus 10 other things the business needs. If all you doing is emails, your email copy should be better than mine. Your response time should be about instantaneous, right? So all you doing is sitting there, right, managing our emails, our copy, our all of that. And man, so a copywriter for me, you get a good copywriter and you get them trained up. Good copywriters worth at least 15,000 a month. That's not what you pay them. That's what they bring in the business.
Mm. Okay. When do you know? Okay. Do you hire people who need training,
I
or do
personally
you?
don't. If you're a
Okay.
small business owner, right? If you're a small or an aspiring business owner, I wouldn't hire somebody that doesn't know how to do the thing. Now, everybody does need some level of training because just because they're a ad specialist, a copywriter, a video editor, whatever it is that you need in your business, they still have to learn your system, right? So for us, we want to send out, emails at what time, what framework do we want to follow, right? So yeah, you can write great copy, but not everybody wants an email newsletter formatted this way. So I would say, especially if you're new, because check this out. If you're a new business owner, if you're a small business owner, no disrespect, right? If you make less than $100,000 a year, you're a small business owner, right? So if you're sub 100K a year, right? You gonna hire somebody to do something that you're not that great at, right? And guess what? During the hiring process, you ask those questions. Hey, look, have you done email management in the past? Now, they might not want to tell you the exact company. Sometimes they will, but sometimes they won't. Okay, well, how big was the email list that you were managing? Right? If they say, oh, well, we managed the email list of 100,000 people. Okay, you might know a thing or two about email marketing. If they say, oh, we have 10 people on the email list, right? Like, okay, well, that don't really help us. So I want a copywriter. So the copywriter that I actually am onboarding this week, she sold 100 tickets at $1,000 a ticket in 30 days. Like, so you guys can do the math on that. I got a South Carolina education. But in 1 month, she sold 100 tickets via email at $1,000 a ticket. It was for a real estate event. That's all I know. So it was an in-person real estate conference where they teach you all of the bells and whistles to be, an all-star real estate mogul. And of course, then I want to know, well, if you was making money like that for them, why in the world did they fire you? Because that sounds almost too good to be true, right? Somebody might be thinking that. And she said, well, they do this conference once a year. And what they do is they'll hire a great copywriter for 90 days, so 3 to 4 months, depending on the marketing campaign. But after the marketing campaign, they don't really need somebody to do it, right? So I guess they got other people that do their email full time, and they'll just bring on other people to really try to pack out this conference. And she was just on that team. So she was like, it was a contract. And then once the conference sold out, that was the end of her contract. And she's looking for more dedicated work. So I'm bet if you know how to sell $100,000 things, right? Granted, you got to take that with a grain of salt now, because you don't know what brand that was. Now, if she was working for Grant Cardone, right? And you don't have a Grant Cardone brand, your list might not be the same list that she was touching, right? So take it with a grain of salt, but that definitely tells me she knows how to turn words into dollars, and that's what we want. But I'm not hiring somebody that I got to teach. They don't even know what copywriting is, right? So I'm not trying to teach somebody from scratch how to do that.
Hiring people who have other jobs or clients.
Yep.
For it, against it,
Yep,
what you
I would say if you need somebody full time, absolutely not. If you need somebody to work on commission or part time, then that's ideal for you. So I would say, in the beginning, depending on what you need, then for sure part time people, and you got to expect those part time people to have other jobs because they got bills too. Right. And if you think about it, what's your infrastructure? So, something that I'm very passionate about is infrastructure, right? So I even wrote a book series that we're going to be launching here soon, and it's the 4 step process to make all the money you would ever want to make in life, right? And the third step is having the right infrastructure, right? So um, if you don't have the infrastructure in place, you ain't got no email list. You ain't got no text message market list. You got a website, but you ain't driving no traffic there. Do you really need a copywriter to be working for you 30, 40 hours a week? Nah, right? You might need them, 5, 10 hours a week anyway. So it's not gonna be any conflict. And it might actually be better for you because they might bring on some of their skill set from over there over here, right? And really turn up your business.
I like it.
Yep. Yep.
What's what's your favorite thing you do in your business? Which one makes you the most money?
Right. So okay, my favorite thing to do in my business, it doesn't make me the most money, so it's two separate things. But my favorite thing to do in my business is to have people come to me and say, hey, look, I made 6 figures, I made 7 figures, right? And of course, it's people that they just read one of my books and then launched a transportation company. It's another guy, he watched a free YouTube video and started a business. Now he scaled that up to 40 grand a month. So my favorite thing to do is to take people that thought the only way they could make a viable income was working a 9 to 5 job. And yeah, they believe they could have side hustles, but they never believed I could work 100% for myself and turn those men, women into business owners that are now making 6 and 7 figures a year, right? Doesn't happen overnight, right? But it is possible for sure to scale it up, right? Most profitable thing that I do in my business, I would definitely say is text message marketing right now. It's not the cheapest, but it gives us the best return on investment. So just getting tactical with you guys. Email can go to spam. It could go in their inbox and they not open it. It can go to promotions, newsletter, folders, but create a text message marketing campaign, you guys. So you don't have a business until you own customers. So make sure you collect their name, email addresses, and phone numbers. I use a tool called mobile text alerts. You don't gotta use that, but that's what I use. And create you a text message marketing campaign where you start texting your audience. Now be smart about it. Don't text them every day like give me a dollar, give me a dollar, give me a dollar. They just gonna opt off the list. But actually give them some free game, give them some encouragement. I'm a big advocate of tell them everything to do for free and then just sell them the convenience of doing it for them or doing it with them.
I like that. I like that. Where does real estate rank on your list?
Yeah, real estate's kind of low on my list, just to be honest, because I don't have like a big 100 door portfolio, right? So if I think about it, I always got to count it. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 properties. 6 of them are single family homes. One is a daycare center. One is an empty plot of land that I want to eventually turn into a paintball or airsoft field. So
Oh,
I look at real estate as retirement. So I would love to be on media to the day that I die, and people still like to watch me and learn from me and do whatever. But there's always a new, younger, a cooler person on the internet, and I don't want to have to be, chasing the wave and trying to dye my hair pink or something so you'll still be entertained. So I invest in real estate and I invest in stocks as more of a retirement. So I have a dividend portfolio. I also recently and am still learning how to trade because every 60 plus year old African American man I know that has over $1 million, right? He knows how to trade. That don't mean he day trade every single day, but they at least have the skill set to say, if I wanted to trade, I could. So that's why, like I shared with you guys earlier, part of my morning routine every day is from 9:30 to 10, at least. If I see my setup trade, whether I win or lose, and then consistently get that habit, because I feel like that's a clue. If I find highly successful people doing that, right? I want to bring up something too, Dre, if it's all right.
yeah,
Before we
cause
get to your next topic, right? Talking to you, the viewer, you, the listener, right? Have you ever thought about the only thing that's holding you back is because your customers believe in your business more than you? What do I mean by that? I've been guilty of this, so I'm not, trying to down talk you. I'm just self-reflecting, and this has been a game changer for me. Let's say you make $25 a day in your business, right? So $25 a day, you make like $125 5 days, right? Why you not running $5 a day every day in ads, $10 a
mm,
day, $20 a day in ads? So that $25 might have been a course, a book, or whatever it is that you sell for $25, but that $25 came from one customer. What if $25 in ads can reach hundreds of people? Could reach thousands of people, because right now newsletter ads was giving us a crazy asymmetric return, right? Risk versus reward on that, right? So if $25 could, and I'm going to oversimplify it, I made $25 off of one sale, and if I dump that back into my business, I could get 25 new customers on my email list, on my text message marketing list. Why is it that your customers believe more in your business than you? Because they believe enough in your product, service, or information for them to patronize your business, give you that 25, 100, $1,000, and you not willing to put a dime of that back into your business to let other people know, hey, look, here's who I am, this is what I do, this is how I serve the people. So definitely, man, run ads, right? You don't have to spend $1 million a day in ads or anything crazy like that, but get into the habit of not letting other people believe in your business more than you. So if they believe enough to spend whatever they spend with your business, put a portion of that, dedicate one sale a day to your ad budget and just cut on those ads. And I'm an organic guy, but I definitely have now started drifting into more of the consistent paid advertising, to the point where, like I said, now we're actually interviewing people. We're going to get a dedicated ads person where all they do is brainstorm with us to help come up with ad creatives and manage our ad accounts.
I love it. Did you watch Streaming University?
Nah. I've seen clips of it here and there, right? But I haven't had the time to check it out though.
So I did. I watched some of it.
All right.
Ve-
How is it?
Some of it was, for younger people, but I was looking at the broader perspective of it. I said, wow, he brought, I don't know, 300 plus people together, maybe 400 with the instructors, new streamers, established streamers, professors. But I looked at how they got paid.
Yep.
And they did something which a lot of people are scared to do, JT. They get the money first.
Yep.
They get the money first. So they had State Farm there, and T-Mobile were just two of the people
Mm-hmm.
of the companies who they have sponsors, State Farm and T-Mobile. Now, what if e- everybody with a podcast, YouTube channel said, I'm going to try to get someone to sponsor this from day one,
Yep.
or maybe day five, right? Day 1 through 5. Rather, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm not that big, I'm not successful yet." No, no, because 100 eyeballs beats no eyeballs.
Yep.
What if people had that approach, JT? They were bold enough to say, "I'm going to get the money early on and try to lock down clients." Do you think they'd be successful? Do you think people need a buzz to get sponsorships?
Nah, I think you can get something in the beginning. Now the big money, of course, when you can come show you get 1 million views or listens every podcast episode, of course, the floodgates open. But in the beginning, I definitely think that you need to have some sort of credibility. It doesn't have to be in the podcast world though. So
Mm,
if like you, for example, you were a successful notary way before you ever started teaching people it. So if you come with that and say, hey, look, I understand this business. I have this many customers in the past that I served. So yes, it's day one for the podcast, but I'll also send out an email to all of my past customers. And what if that was a company out there that was like a law firm or something like that and said, hey, look, well, hey, maybe a notary might know some people that need an attorney every now and then. Right. So okay, well, how much you gonna charge, Dre? Well, all right, our introductory price is $150 for a month. Right. And we're gonna do 4 episodes a month. Well, if they were gonna spend $5 a day in ads, right, and those ads may or may not be viewed by the right person, why not spend the same money, right? Chance it with Dre, $150, right? And see if you get any return on investment. So, hey, how many people came and followed our Facebook page or got on our email list or did we book a client or whatever, right? So by whatever metrics they care about, but definitely I would say day one, here's why most people won't do it. They're not confident enough in themselves that they're going to
bingo.
give the person a return on investment, and that's going to bleed through. So it doesn't matter what script I give you, what script Dre gives you. If you're not confident, if you're there like, man, if you want to give me $150, like they don't believe that, right? So you got to come there with confidence and tell them, like, man, like even now. So I have my main channel that has well over 300,000 and plus people on it. But man, I got a separate podcast that has barely 1,000 people on it, and we charge people $300 an episode to come get interviewed on it, right? And people are booking calls, and of course, as it gets bigger, more and more people will join, right? But we're letting them know, hey, look, I understand media. Yes, you're not going to be on the big channel, but I have a track record on Instagram of growing an audience, on YouTube of growing an audience. Now we're getting more serious about Facebook of growing an audience. After we get over 100K on Facebook, we want to go to LinkedIn and grow an audience, right? So I want to have 100K followers on every platform like we did on Instagram and like we did on YouTube. And hey, you could get in early at $300, or you could get on later where companies like Alibaba pay us $30,000, right? So 300 or 30,000, the choice is yours, right? And here's a sales tactic that sounds crazy. You gotta mean what you say and honestly be okay if they walk away,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Sometimes people are just trying to say whatever they think will get a yes, right? So not be okay with them walking away.
All right. We spoke about dating, relationships, marriage,
Yep,
stay-home wives last time. Let me ask you this question.
yep.
How do you feel about dating and or marrying a woman with children?
Yeah, well, I'm in my 30s, so I'm gonna be honest, Dre. Like I feel like I almost ain't got no choice. Not in a bad way though, but I mean like it, if a woman is in her third shoot now, maybe if a woman is in her late 20s, women have children. Like, so I don't see like that being an issue. Now, here is a deal breaker. Now, if her children are terrorists, right? Like, they if they're destroying her house, if they not respecting her, not respecting adults, they cussing her out, they what I mean? So if your children are terrorists, then of course not. But just having kids is not a deal breaker, no.
Doesn't matter how many kids she has.
Um, I would say yes. It depends on the man though, right? So nothing wrong with a average man. I think somebody said an average man might make between 40 to 60 grand a year, right? So if we're saying that's average, just for the sake of this conversation, if he meets a lady that has 6 kids, he might not have the resources to be a provider at scale for that, right? I'm traditional, I'm a country boy, right? Call me ignorant, call me whatever, but I believe in a relationship that there are gender roles, right? I know some people don't agree with that, but I agree that or I believe that the man should be a provider. So if she has, and that would be true if she had 2 kids and he couldn't provide for them. So if you can't provide for her and the kids, now of course these kids got dads, right? And maybe extended family as well. But if you're with her, right, unless these kids is grown and gone, those kids are going to be around. Those kids are going to pull from her resources, and if you're a part of her life, they're going to pull from your resources too. So like, just being realistic, like, yeah, there's no problem if she have kids, as long as you have the resources financially and you got the mental bandwidth, because you can have $1 million a month coming in, but if you don't got the patience, right, they'll still drive you crazy and that relationship ain't gonna work.
Do you care how many ex-husbands or baby daddies that she has?
Not baby daddies, but definitely ex-husbands. Like, so if we're intentionally dating, which I would assume a lot of men around our age are,
Hmm.
so if we're intentionally dating and you have, like, I don't know, 3 ex-husbands, like I would definitely be wanting to know why. Like, okay, one ex-husband, was he abusive? Was he, right? You know what I mean? There's things, did he cheat on you? So there's things that could happen. But if 3 different guys, you married them, and all 3 of them divorced you, okay, now I'm interested to know, like, was do you just make poor decisions and you hired 3 and you married 3 bums, or was it you now at this point?
I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah.
Um, JT, what are you working on for the summertime? Are you going away? Any trips?
Um, I want to go look at the Bahamas. I gotta double check if it's the rainy season in the Bahamas. I want to actually buy a property in the Bahamas. I don't know if I want it to be my primary residence or if I
Dope.
want to use it for like events for like my high tier mentees come out to
Oh,
Jamaica, stay at the whatever it is that we find. Last time I went, I met Ricky Smiley just on a whim, not trying to say like I know Ricky Smiley, but
yeah.
just ran into him at a shop in a place called Bimini, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. And man, real friendly guy, chopped it up with him, and I just really liked the Bahamas. So if we go anywhere, probably the Bahamas for the summer. Yep. And then gearing up to go to Aruba in September. Right,
I
is
like
probably the only places out of the country we're gonna go this year.
I like it. I like
Yeah,
it.
what about you? What your summer look like?
You know, I actually love the Bahamas. I think the Bahamas is an underrated island. And me being from Jamaica, I go there pretty frequently. But every now and then, I do try to get to the Bahamas. So I got a friend who's turning 40. They're going to Vegas, so I'll be out there in Vegas. But no big trips planned. I did a lot of traveling in my early 40s, so I said the next year or two, I'm gonna do it, but a little bit less. I felt I had a lot of fun. So now it's time to do more work than fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a relationship question for you, Dre, man. Like, so okay, um, what would well, are you interested in ever being married? I guess is the first question.
Well, I was married before.
Okay.
I'm in my interest to get married again. I am, but not through the state, so not with a marriage license.
Okay, what does that mean? Because I'm
So
ignorant to that.
literally, so literally everything else, wedding, invitations,
Mhm.
live together, but no state, no courts involved in our marriage.
Okay.
So no license, yeah.
All right. All right. So that, like, why is that better than, is that how you were married the first time or no?
No, I was married through the court system, through the state the first time.
Okay.
So personal stance, not telling, that's not anyone needs to do this. It doesn't make sense for me because we have to think worst case scenario and best case scenario. I want to retire sooner than
Mhm.
later. I want to not have to work sooner than later. So if things don't work out, which I'm just going pure logic and numbers here, there's a 50% chance that it won't work out. So I'm probably making more money than her. I'm going to take a hit financially.
Mm-hmm.
To minimize the hit, I would just rather not have the state involved if
Yeah.
that happens. Now, a lot of people get married for sentimental reasons, fuzzy feelings, and all that. Oh, this is never gonna go bad. Okay, I respect optimism. I'm not so fuzzy,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense, JT. I'm
Yeah.
not so, I'm more on the practical side than strictly fuzzy feelings. So for me, I would rather just keep them out and we have our own agreement. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If things don't work out, I'll do X, Y, Z, or she'll live here, I'll live here, I'll cover this, she'll move on to here. We'll work out our own agreement. And
Would it be a
also,
legal
when it's
agreement or you saying
over,
like a verbal agreement?
it can be written out,
Okay.
notarized. It could be,
Yeah.
it could be, they call it a contract. They call it a
Okay.
contract wedding rather than the stage above. So, yeah. And when it's so something I wasn't happy about the last time. It was over, but the process took longer because the other party didn't want to move quick on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in another relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That relationship took a hit because I was still legally married.
Oh.
So it's over. None of us wanted to get back to each other, but my next relationship is suffering because, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm trying to do this. I paid the lawyer and everything.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons why it's not for me. And I honestly think as time goes by and people think more logically, marriage license will be kind of outdated.
All right. So that's not like you don't have to be. So you're still legally married. You just don't go through the courts. It's just a contract between you and that person. All right. And that's better than a prenup.
For me, yes. Other
Yeah.
people have different opinions on it. Some people say, well, I want a marriage license for XYZ reasons, and they get a prenup. I'm just not doing any of that stuff. I'm just gonna,
Mhm.
hey, I like you, you like me. Let's have a conversation. Let's put some things on paper. Maybe I get her a life insurance policy on me just in case I go before her. So she's taken care of financially. So I'm not a cheap person, JT. I am more strategic as I get older and
Mhm.
I want to minimize certain risks. So
Oh yeah.
my thing, everything else, literally everything else besides the license, I am looking forward to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Last question about that part, right? So
All
it's
right.
if you had the contract versus the traditional marriage, right? If y'all want to break up, it's just hey, it's over. She go her way, you go your way. Y'all are instantly divorced. It's no big long drawn out process.
That would be ideal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, learn something new every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna follow the Shade Room. I don't follow them, but every now and then I peek in. So Rihanna and ASAP Rocky were at the Met Gala, one of those gala things,
Mm-hmm.
and she's pregnant again. Shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said in the comment section, when is he gonna put a ring on her? 3 kids. And ladies said, why would she marry him? She's a billionaire. They don't need to, they don't, they basically said what I was just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it was the other way around, where ASAP was a billionaire and he's doing well for himself, right? But he's not a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
People would have a different take on it. But people use strategy over emotions when it benefits them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave it at that. So JT, thank you for being here, brother. Um, what can
Ladies, let
people
us know
buy?
down in the comment section below, because I know when you clip these up, man, they be wanting this, the comment like, "Hey,
They want
ladies, do you care about a marriage license? Can it just be a contract if the man check all your other boxes?"
and income. Let's say that a woman is inheriting 2 brownstones in
Oh,
Brooklyn or Harlem. She has a 401k and a Roth IRA at $700,000. She meets a great guy, teacher. 200K
Mhm.
in the 403B, and he's a condo, but everything else is great. Would you be so amped for a marriage license, or would you be cool with doing a situation how I just recommended? What would you do if that was a scenario?
Mm.
Right. JT, what can people buy from you? What are
Oh,
you selling?
man, it's summertime now, man. So the kids is home. You need to get your Make a Million First board game, man.
Woohoo! I
So
gotta buy
I
one.
had some cousins come into town. They did a gun show, and we country, so we like to go to the gun show and buy stuff. But while they were in town, they went to the gun show with me, and we went out to eat, and then we did a little gaming evening because it wasn't night, and played Make a Million First. So I bought all of the financial literacy board games, not knocking anybody's thing, but Make a Million First, it teaches you how to make $1 million in the real world without
Mm.
debt. And it's just a fun game to play, right? So definitely you can hit me up if you want your copy of the Make a Million First board game. All right. The website is authorjt.com. That's also my publishing company. If they want to go straight to the website, see what else we got. But hey, it's summertime. The kids is at home. If your kids is gonna be at the house eating up all the grocery, dirtying up the house every day, breaking your stuff while you at work, why not at least give them a game that they can play that'll teach them how to make $1 million in the real world? And this is actually based on the teachings of my mentors. So it's complex, but I tried to oversimplify it so it's still fun. And so far so good, right? Everybody's been having fun playing it.
There we go. JT, buy the board, buy two.
Yeah.
One for you, one for your country cousin, and your city cousin. Buy three.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, bro. See you next week.
All right, see.
Peace.